The defense secretary's broker tried to buy millions in weapons stocks weeks before the first bomb dropped. The president's sons merged with a drone company, while their father's war created the demand. The president's son-in-law took $2 billion from Saudi Arabia and then sat at the table as America's peace envoy. And $580 million in oil bets were placed 15 minutes before Trump posted about productive talks with Iran on March 23rd. The post sent oil prices crashing. The bets printed money. 15 minutes. That is not a market. That is a family business. Oops. Now here is the part they hope you never connect. While the war budget went up, the health budget went down. While defense stocks surged, food stamps were cut. The IMF just proved it. Every time defense spending booms, social spending falls. Hospitals, schools, nutrition programs. The money does not disappear. It changes address, from your kitchen table to a missile factory. Stay with me, because by the end you will understand where your money actually went. Let's start with the receipts. The Financial Times reported, citing 3 sources, that Defense Secretary Hegseth's broker at Morgan Stanley contacted BlackRock about investing millions in a defense fund weeks before the war started. The fund included Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and Palantir. The trade did not go through because the fund was not yet available. The Pentagon denied it. The Financial Times stood by its reporting, but someone close to the war room was looking to profit from what was coming. And what came made those stocks soar. The exact trigger is debated, but here is what is not. Since the war began on February 28th, defense stocks have surged. Lockheed Martin, RTX, Northrop Grumman, all up sharply. Someone was going to profit. The question is whether the people making the war were also making the money. Now meet the family. The president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, runs a private equity firm called Affinity Partners. The Saudi government's sovereign wealth fund invested $2 billion in it. The same Saudi government that, according to the New York Times, privately pushed Trump to attack Iran. Kushner is also a White House special envoy to the Middle East. He meets with Iranian officials on behalf of America. The Senate Finance Committee opened an investigation. Their words, Kushner is raising billions from Middle Eastern governments while negotiating U.S. foreign policy. Let me say that again. The man negotiating peace is funded by the country pushing for war. Oops. And the president's sons, Eric and Donald Jr., recently merged with a drone manufacturer, while their father's war created a booming market for exactly that product. Ethics experts called it a conflict of interest unprecedented in modern presidential history. Now here is the connection nobody is making. The IMF released its World Economic Outlook 2 days ago. Title, Global Economy in the Shadow of War. Inside that report is a chapter that should be front-page news everywhere but is not. It proves that when defense spending booms, social spending collapses, every time, not sometimes, every time. The numbers. In a typical defense boom, military spending rises by roughly 2.7 percentage points of GDP in 2.5 years. 2/3 of that is financed by borrowing. Public debt jumps 7 percentage points within 3 years. In wartime, the damage doubles. Debt surges by 14 percentage points, and social spending falls. Hospitals lose funding. Schools lose funding. Nutrition programs lose funding. Let me introduce you to Maria, 36, single mother, 2 kids, works the night shift at a warehouse in Memphis, Tennessee. She relies on SNAP, the food assistance program, to fill the gap between what she earns and what her family needs. This year, Congress passed the largest cut to SNAP in the program's history. Millions of Americans will lose benefits. At the same time, the defense budget hit a record high. Maria did not start this war. Maria cannot find Iran on a map. But the money that used to help feed her children just moved to a budget line she will never see. The missile got funded. The grocery card got cut. Same budget, different priorities. Oops. Now zoom out. This is not just America. The IMF warns that the pattern repeats globally. Defense booms crowd out social spending everywhere. And the crowding out, their exact words, could ignite discontent and social unrest. The IMF is saying, in the most diplomatic language possible, that cutting hospitals to buy missiles makes people angry. And angry people do not stay quiet. The institution that advises governments on stability is warning that the governments themselves are creating instability. Oops. And here is the deeper question this channel exists to ask. If the defense secretary's broker tried to buy weapons stocks before the war, and the president's family is selling drones during the war, And the president's son-in-law is funded by the country pushing for the war. Then who is the war for? Because it is not for Maria. Maria lost her grocery card. It is not for Rosa in Manila. Rosa lost her fuel. It is not for Kenji in Yokohama. Kenji lost his boat. The war is for the people who buy the stocks, sell the drones, and collect the management fees. Everyone else just gets the bill. Here is the pushback. Defense spending creates jobs. It protects national security. The economy needs a strong military. Fair enough. But here is the mechanism question. If every defense boom in history has produced the same result, debt up, social spending down, inequality wider, then at what point does the pattern stop being a side effect and start being the design? The IMF has the data. The receipts are public. The family business is documented, and Maria's grocery card is gone. War has never had a winning people. Not on the losing side. Not on the winning side. The missile budget went up. The food budget went down. The stocks surged, the food stamps were cut. And the people who started the war are the same people selling the weapons, negotiating the peace, and collecting the checks. 3 things to carry with you. Economic. The IMF proved that defense booms produce debt surges and social spending cuts. Every time, wartime doubles the damage. 14 percentage points of debt. The pattern is not a theory, it is an accounting entry. Social. Maria works nights in Memphis. She lost her SNAP benefits in the largest cut in the program's history. The same budget that cut her grocery card funded the largest defense increase in a generation. She did not choose this. Nobody asked her. Global. The defense secretary's broker tried to buy weapons stocks before the war. The president's sons sell drones during the war. The president's son-in-law raises billions from the country pushing for the war. The war is not a policy, it is a portfolio, and you are not a shareholder. You are the cost. Remember Maria's grocery card? It did not vanish. It was reallocated. It became a line item in a defense budget that funded the stocks that made the brokers rich, that work for the people who started the war, that cut the grocery card. One circle, one budget, 2 worlds. And the world Maria lives in never gets a seat at the table where the world's money decides to move. If this war is costing you something that numbers cannot measure, tell me what it is. Drop it in the comments. If this changed how you read a budget, stick around. We follow the money, not the headlines.